afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here with me for today. Let us look into the Massif de la Hotte. According to the regional geology of the Republic of Haiti, the Massif de la Hotte constitutes the largest part of the southern peninsula. It constitutes an oblique syncline between itself and the Massif de la Selle. It is occupied by the valleys of Rivière Lavine to the north and Rivière Gauche to the south, flowing in the opposite direction. Le Massif de la Hotte is bathed on three other sides by the sea. To the north by the Canal de la Gonâve and the Gulf de la Gonâve, to the west by the Jamaica Channel, and to the south by the Caribbean Sea. It has a west-east length of 185 kilometers. Le Massif de la Hotte has a high chain of 2,405 meters altitude at Peak Macaya. It has a dominant west-east direction. The western coast of the Jamaica Channel, very abrupt, in which add these links transversely, must correspond to a fault. This explains why the peaks, which extends to the Macaya Massif toward the west, still reach 1,080 meters, 6 kilometers east of Cap Afare towards the west, a small port on the west coast. Apart from the ranges and the valleys that separate them, we also find plateaus and plains. The plateau of La Péninsule de Port Salut, with a maximum altitude of 356 meters, is the most extensive of them. The coastal plain of Les Cayes, which has an area of about 350 square kilometers and an altitude between 0 and 100 meters, is the largest of the plains. Its existence is linked to the divergence between the direction of the chains that limit it to north and to the west. The hydrographic network of the Massif de la Hotte is quite dense, especially in the western part, due to the abundant rainfall. This is why La Rivière de la Grandance is the second largest river in the Republic, with an average annual flow of 26.5 cube meters. Two relatively large islands can be attached to the Massif de la Hotte. The largest is Île Vache, located in the Bay of Les Cayes, 10 kilometers to the southeast of the locality of Les Cayes. Lying from east to west, it is 15 kilometers long and an average width of 3 kilometers. It is low area, the highest point reaching 75-meter altitude. North of Pistel and the Gulf of the Gonâve extend La Grande Caïmite, 10 kilometers long and 6 kilometers wide. It is a hill of 226 meters altitude whose slopes are cut into terraces. All systems from Cretaceous to the recent are represented in the Massif de la Hotte. According to Rodrigue and all, various small outcrops, metamorphic limestones of low Cretaceous age are located in the regions of Petit Goâve, Aquin, and Camperin. The type locality is located on Les Cayes Jérémy Road in the valley of La Rivière Glace, 100 meters northeast of the passage of the river, where we find a fairly complete set covered in angular unconformity by the Paleocene or the lower Eocene. Thus define the Macaya Formation outcrops widely in the heart of the western part of the Massif de la Hotte. It forms an outcrop strips of 80 kilometers, 13 kilometers long of medium width, which constitute the bulk of the Macaya Massif. Another band, much smaller, is found further south in the Morne Sinai region. It is about 24 kilometers, 3 kilometers long, wide. Small deposits are found in areas of volcanic terrain. Paleocene and Eocene are widely represented in the Massif de la Hotte. They have constant characters throughout the chain. They are the equivalent of the Marigot Formation. They are represented by conglomerate sandstones, luminated clays, which gradually pass to very coastal limestones at Melobesi. They correspond to the basic conglomerate of the transgressive sea deposit on the eroded Lamarian chain. The Paleocene and Eocene series constitute the flanks of the anticline, the axis of which is formed by the anti-Laramian series, especially Upper Cretaceous, Macaya Formation, basalts, and andesites, which they cover in angular unconformity. Oligocene, it is little developed in the Massif de la Hotte. It is only found in a narrow coastal strip south of Les Roseaux and the northern part of La Plaine des Cailles around La Chaux-Pont. In the first region, it is mainly represented by white limestone chalky with flint, and the second by yellow detrital limestones. Its thickness reaches a few hundred meters on the road from Beaumont to Roseau. It covers in unconformity, simple or angular, the Eocene limestones. It provides a series of large characteristic foraminifera, in particular of the genus Lepidocyclina. Oligomiocene, its extension in the Massif de la Hotte is very limited. Only two small outcrops are known. The first south of Fort Garry, the second north of Fond-des-Blancs. They are represented by massive white to yellowish Miyoji sense limestones. They lie unconformably on Eocene limestone. The lower Miocene seems to be represented by rocks reminiscent of those of the southern border of La Plaine de Cul-de-Sac. They are made up of conglomerates, brown or yellow sandstones, brown limestones, marl in fairly folded layers. They are reported to be found in the Vallée de la Grandance, where they provide fossil plant saurites, madrepores, and mollusks. Between Port Salut and Port Habillement, it has been reported the presence of small outcrops of massive madreporic Miocene limestone. To the north of Fond-des-Blancs, limestone of the same type with saurids americans, disengageable madrepore, and mollusks abundant, however badly preserved. In the Tapion of Petit Goave, it is reported the presence of Miocene outcrops on the Port-au-Prince-Caille National Road over a distance of 2 kilometers. They consist of madreporic limestones, pebble conglomerates of limestone, basalt, flint, and sandstones rocks. The Miocene rocks described are marine, but there are also continental rocks of the same age. They mainly outcrop in two regions, the Campion Depression and the Asile Valley. The Valley of Asylum is a depression of 12 kilometers, 3 kilometers long, wide, elongate from west to east, and whose altitude varies between 125 and 250 meters. It corresponds to the meeting of the rivers which form La Grande Rivière de Nippes. This is why the Miocene formation only outcrops in the hills or cliffs, the bottoms being covered with alluvial rocks. Pliocene, the outcrop in the depression that limits the Tapion of Petit Goave to the south. These rocks, which covers those of the Miocene and concordance, have provided a very modern fauna of mollusks and madrepores. It is only because of their structured relationships with the Miocene that these rocks are assigned to the Pliocene. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video. I will see you in the next.